It's a beautiful Thursday. Welcome to The Pulse. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle on your digital terrestrial TV because we're free to air on the STV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. This afternoon, hundreds of residents of the former refugee camp Bujumbram mass up vowing to resist a planned shutdown of the camp following concerns it has become a den for criminal gangs. We're live in the area for updates and also have a broader conversation about the importance of this exercise in curbing crime. Also this afternoon, we'll take a look at MMDCE confirmations, and our focus is the Ashanti region, where 3 of the president's nominees have been rejected. And later on the show, as we bring you the 2021 Bujumbram Redu Memorial Lecture, where we'll be taking you live to the event center for more. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities, Dignilu Affordable Safe Sanitation. We're also streaming live on YouTube on all our social media handles. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at Denana Aisha. I'm super excited to host you. Please be my guest.
Hi, this is Lexus Bill, host of Drive Time on Joy 99.7 FM. Listen, you don't have to worry if you miss Drive Time or Personality Profile. It's going to be live on our podcast page. Just log on to www.myjoyonline.com/podcast. You can listen to Drive Time, Personality Profile, and any other of your favorite shows on Joy FM on that page. You don't have to miss a show at all. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Many thanks for choosing us. This afternoon, residents of Bujumbram have vowed to continue staying in the area. It's barely 24 hours to the expiration of the deadline handed residents of the former refugee camp to relocate, as the area will be demolished. Bujumbram previously served as a refugee camp but has since become home to many West African nationals who opted to live in Ghana after its refugee settlement status was withdrawn. The police and traditional authorities have in recent times demanded a demolition of the area, saying it has become a haven for criminals. The Gomoa East District Assembly says it will demolish the place anytime after today. This is the focus of a bigger conversation we will be having on The Pulse this afternoon as the police intensify patrol to clamp down on criminal activities. But first, let's get a sense of what is happening at the Bujumbram camp.
If they want us to go, they should open a bowler for us. And then they bring buses. I bet you to go here on the sun that is shining. Liberian people will go, enter motor will go. If they bring buses to this sun that's shining, Liberian people will enter and go. But when they are going back, know that the intention that they are going with, they are not going with good intention.
The thing that is going on ground is I'm not satisfied at all, because you see, they brought 2 options to us. 2012, if you can remember. They said that we should choose to go back home or to stay. Some of us have agreed to stay. We expected them to give us some packages, maybe finding houses for us, and we understand. Taking us from out of the refugee camp, relocating us, finding houses, giving us some allowances. Maybe if you are in the working class, they make you to work. If you have the qualification, right? Certain works. If you are supposed to go to school, send you to school. But up to now, we haven't gotten such a package yet. Now, they give us 400 cities. Think to yourself, can 400 cities find a house for you for a year in Ghana here? 400 cities. Can it get you a house? That's the money they are announcing around. They gave us something. Because I was watching a certain news. I don't know who was the minister or who.
So they gave you 400 cities?
400 cities per family hairs.
So right now, you are supposed to move today. What are you going to move? Have you packed your things already?
I didn't pack anything. It's there. If they want to come and break their house of my things, let them break it. We'll go and sleep in the street. Maybe that's what they want.
Of Ghanaians, Liberians, Ivorians, all of us, we are all one. So they should see about us.
Are you going to move from here?
No, when they say we should move from there, UN should come and decide. We are living with UN people here. You understand? You can't just drop somebody like this. They will come for us. We are tired. We are tired.
Liberians, they don't come here on their own. Liberians are here because of something that happened back home. You get me? Okay. If people or individuals are coming up to say Liberians should leave this place and go back home, there are certain things they should consider. These people have lived here this number of time. So if you want to take them from here, let's get certain things straight that we can get them from here. Look at a passport given to a Liberian. And in the passport, I think you saw my friend, I showed it to you. You cannot state in the passport that he shouldn't work here, he shouldn't do anything here. Meanwhile, in Liberia, we have Ghanaians that are working in the ministries. Ghanaians are working without resident permit. For example, go to a place called West Point. Go in a place, Buchanan, they are there. Go in Looking Town, they are there. Go in Maryland, Fishtown, they are there. All the coastal area are being controlled by Ghanaians.
They have settlements there.
They have Ghanaian settings in Liberia. That's why I mentioned this place. They have Ghanaian settings in Liberia. That is their community. Where when they born a Ghanaian, he speaks Twi. That is a pure Ghanaian community. You right? But you don't do this to people living here. That they should leave, you're going to break their houses down. Meanwhile, the houses were built by them. They suffer the sweat in the builders' houses. So if you want to take them from here, yeah, there's a proper channel you can use. In a better way that you take them from there, you don't bring hurt to them, and you don't bring hurt to Ghanaians living back home. You see it? Now, if you take them from here, and they have that pain in their heart, they go back home, what will happen to the Ghanaians there? They will start stoning them, they will start killing them, the same way they do to the people here. And it will be very bad for you to come and take someone from here without the proper channel. Go through the rightful channel and get them from here, not in this situation.
If you have your house and you live in your house, it says leave the house and don't lock when how we go out. If you are living in your house and you lock door on you, say go out, how we go out.
So you are saying that they need to give you the opportunity before you can go?
Yes. I'm saying number one, Ghana government says should go, no problem will go. But border is closed, how will we go? We'll fly and go? No. We can't fly and go. Right now, your government of Ghana saying that the chief have power government. It's true. Because this is Liberia and Ghana. It's not chief and Liberian. It's chief and Ghana government discussing. Liberian government out, I can say, because why? Government of Liberia are waiting in Ghana embassy to accept Liberian for December 1st, which we received last night. Ghana Foreign Ministry read Liberian embassy that December 4th should fight from the line. But now we are saying people can't discuss about issue. We don't care. If they like today, they bring entire Ghana to come bring the camp down, we stay here. It won't for anything. We just look at you and do. But what is that? Tell your government to open border, we'll go back to our country.
But even if you break the house today, I will stay here today.
Stay right here.
I have nowhere to go. If you see anyone parking that low away, they are Ghanaians. I'm a refugee. There is 3 sets of refugees that are living on this camp. We have those that they gave the passport to, and they have those that they gave a letter to, and they have those to re-apply them. So I'm part of those who have to re-apply UN. So I'm staying here. I have nowhere to go. If you break the house today, I will stay here today. I will not remove even a top from the house. Go and break the house along with the clothes. Let UN come in and let me ask UN. Me, I have not dealing with you. I have dealing with UN. Let me ask UN. Why you bring me here and you leave me outside? You brought me here to shelter me, to give me food to eat. But end of the day, you remove your back on me. You said I should go. How am I going when you close your border? Should I walk to go? Why you pass? I don't have anything to do here. I don't have to work here, as you said. So which means Ghana is belongs to you. Fine, it's Red Cross and UN who brought me here. So now let Red Cross and UN find place for me to go. That is simple.
My being here is not in vain. I came here as a refugee. I never came here to hustle. I never came here to cause problems. Liberia is a peaceful country. We love the whole world. The whole world want to live in Liberia right now.
You are supposed to pack out by close of day today. Have you done that?
I already packed my things, and I cannot pack out because they have not come out to my rescue to give my doable solution. They have not given me my doable solution. So I have to stay on the camp I will stay here. I will sleep on the street. That is it.
Ghana government told Nana Akufo-Addo told us that we should leave. And now our global solution is not yet giving it to us. They said we should leave. And we're not getting anything from them yet. How can we leave today? So what they have, or they should give it out that you can go. Because if we can give it, we will stay here in their nose and we will not leave. And even they break their houses, we'll still be there. When we leave there, the UN will come for us and we can.
I will not move.
You are saying you're not going to move?
I will not move because Ghana Refugee Board, Ghana government, Ghana UNHCR have not applied a three-dribble solution for the refugees. That is why you see they can't park with Liberians. When they come down with a three-dribble solution, they will not see Liberians on the camp here. Everybody will go. We have voluntary repatriation, we have integration, we have resettlement. The three. They fail to apply it, and that's what the refugees are waiting for. And we must get it. We must get it. Ghana citizens can leave Ghana to go in other people's country to enjoy, to bring riches to their land. Ghana must allow Liberians to be benefited from the blood that we wasted in our land. So indeed, I want to appeal to the government. My appeal, we are not appealing to stay. I am not appealing to stay in Ghana. We're ready to go. But before we go, let it apply the three-dribble solution. Second appeal, let the government mark the houses that they are going to demolish, those marked houses. Let it compensate the people before they demolish them. If they not do it, we will sue them to God. We will sue the government to God. If the government not compensate and they demolish, we will sue them to God. 32 years, refugees are not working. Refugees are not working. When you say go, where are we going?
My colleague Joseph Akable now joins me via Zoom for more. Joseph, what's the latest on the expected demolition exercise at the Bujumbram camp?
For the expectation of the assembly that the area will be vacant to enable the demolition to take place, what we can report now is that the place is still occupied. There are some few individuals who have packed out. In fact, during the course of our interaction with residents, those who were moving out of the place, they were actually being hooted at by those who had opted to stay. And so some people have left, but majority of the homes, and these are mainly makeshift structures. They are not, we don't have a lot of structures that are built in block. They are mainly wooden structures, but there are some few structures that are built in blocks also within. And all those people are still there. And so today when we got there, they had actually gathered at the St. Gregory Catholic Hospital, which is more or less has a bit of a space in front that is used as a community center of sorts. And so they had gathered there, meeting and hoping that they are going to make a case to push forward their opinion that they should be given some form of package before they can move. And that's what they have received. They said some amount of 400 cedis, some say 800 cedis is simply inadequate. It falls within the Gomoa East District Assembly. In fact, it's the assembly that issued that notice. And so we caught up with the DCE, Solomon Dakokwam, who first explains the rationale behind the decision to demolish the area. And he says he's simply carrying out a directive that comes all the way up from the presidency.
I think we should listen to the Gomoa East District Assembly DCE.
We were mandated to sensitize residents in Bujumbram, the camp, of an impending demolition, which has been sanctioned by government. And when I say that, you know, from the presidency. And so DISEC met and agreed on a 2-month ultimatum, or if you like, moratorium for residents to leave the place. And that 2 months ends today, being 30th of September. After that, the rest of the matter is a national security issue. So the demolition, the actual demolition, may commence anytime from after today. So that is what is going on, and we decided to put out that final reminder to residents that the last day is here. So basically, that is it.
And what is the specific reason for the demolition? Is it a case that, I mean, because we've heard it being put out there that the area has become a crime haven of sorts?
I mean, what specifically is the reason?
It's a myriad of factors. The first is that is what you have just mentioned. You know, Bujumbram has become so notoriously popular for criminal activities. A number of robbers are often chased to that place for arrests and those things. I hope you have not also lost sight of the fact that it was just Bujumbram, the same Bujumbram that 2 able-bodied policemen were gunned down one hot afternoon, and several of them. So the security matter challenge is one. But that aside, the place itself has outlived its usefulness. By that I mean it has ceased to be a camp since 2010, because 1919, when the place was acquired, if you like, to be used as a camp for the refugees from Sierra Leone, Liberia, and co. That has ceased since 2010, because when Liberia became stable, Sierra Leone and those things, the United Nations High Commission on Refugees and the Ghana Refugee Board both undertook repatriation and sent the people there, those who wanted to. And those who wanted to integrate into Ghana, i.e. accept that, oh, they want to be Ghanaians forever, were also given the option. And from my information, they were also given monies to be able to leave the camp and settle anywhere they wanted in Ghana. That is what some have failed to do and have remained there and have become a conduit for other, if you like, non-refugees to also infiltrate into the camp and perpetrate all manner of crime that you and I know. So, aside the crime aspect, the camp itself is no more a camp. And indeed, the chiefs who offered the place to government for use as a camp are also demanding their land back for use for other purposes. Just this morning, I met a team. They came. We have met, I think, about 5 teams who all have interest. We are talking of 141-acre land. So it's not unusual to have more than one owner. They have all come, and interestingly, they are all behind. They support the demolition for the place to be used for some other uses. What is left is maybe the dividends that will go to each of those landowners and those things when the place is eventually used for the other purposes we are contemplating. So I am tasked to bring it to their attention, being the DC in the area, that the place will be demolished. Whatever is due them by way of resettlement, reintegration, those things, I'm sure they know the appropriate quarters that handles those things. But let me add that just yesterday, the refugee board were here, and they actually promised that, yes, they are bringing buses to pick their few people of concern. That is the description they gave. People of concern who are still at that place. They are picking them to a place somewhere in Western region. They say they still have a refugee camp there. So I think that is sorted out. I'm sure while they are there, they can continue to engage the appropriate authorities regarding whatever package is due them. But at least I am informed that during the 2010 repatriation, some monies were given them to actually leave this camp. So anybody who is there at their own volition. So that is more or less sorted out.
You heard the DCE of the Gomua East District Assembly. Now, let me share with you excerpts of the eviction notice served by the Gomua East District Assembly, and it says, reference to letter of Tuesday, 3rd August 2021, on the above subject matter, the Gomua East District Security Council DISEC wishes to serve final reminder to all residents in the Bujumbram refugee camp that the planned demolition would come off after 30th September 2021, which is today, when all occupants should have vacated the place. Daisy Gomwa it wishes to reiterate that there has not been any extension of the eviction date beyond the 30th September 2021. Neither is the planned demolition also suspended. All occupants and general public are therefore entreated to disregard any contrary information regarding the exercise and adhere to the eviction date as already communicated. Let me ask you this, Akable. As we heard from the video, the people are unwilling to leave the place. How do they intend to handle this? I mean, did the DC tell you?
I mean, as far as the DC is concerned, he says the instructions that he has from above, and he makes reference to the presidency, is to communicate to these residents that the demolition can take place sometime after September 30th, so they should relocate. And so he says that is all that they have to say. And when I asked him specifically about whether the assembly has any intentions to make available some funds by way of compensation, his response was to point me to how his office looks and how the assembly itself looks, and that the assembly is not in a position to provide any such compensation. And so if they need compensation, he advises that they should go to the UN in terms of, and those who have already taken money from the UN, they should also proceed to move from the place. Or other than that, they should appeal to central government. But at the assembly level, their work from the presidency is to inform them that they are going to demolish the place after September 30. That is where his work ends, and that is simply what he's notified them of in the last 2 months.
Joseph Akable is my colleague who's been monitoring this for us. Let's have a conversation now on dealing with the increasing crimes, especially in the Kaswa enclave. And I'm joined by Dr. Opoku-Ware, who is a criminologist and crime researcher with KNUST. In fact, he has done a lot of work on the Kaswa area. And I'm also joined by Adam Bona, who is a security analyst and CEO of Security Warehouse. I'm grateful for your time, gentlemen. But I would like to start from our Central Region correspondent, Richard Kwejo-Nyako, who has been reporting from this area tagged as a haven for criminals. Kwejo-Nyako, I need you to paint a picture of this area which has gradually gained notoriety for criminal activities.
Also, Aisha, the place is in the Central Region, all right, but it is not in Kaswa. So whenever any activity or criminal activity happens, it is attributed to Kaswa, and that informed what the chiefs have been saying, that they want peace in their area, and the Bujumbram area is earning a bad name for them, and that informed their decision to petition government to have the place demolished. And so people passed there, they snatched their phones, they do all manner of criminal activities, and so people found it even difficult to even pass through that particular area. The land guard activities that go on in that particular area, they attributed to the gangs coming from the Bujumbura area. They said that they have formed these cliques and then the groups, and people go there to hire them for all manner of nefarious activities. And so if that place is brought down, it will bring some kind of peace and some kind of relief to the people in that particular area. So proud to the announcement by the authorities there to have the place demolished. The chiefs there organized series of press conferences telling government that they need their land for other development activities so that they would have their peace of mind. Because once the place is mentioned, and because of proximity to Kaswa, people associate all manner of criminal activities. You remember the incident that happened in Kaswa, and it brought about some security apprehensions. And so the regional police command had to deploy a lot of police personnel there to enable them deal with the situation. And so that area is noted for a lot of criminal activities. And so it will be a big sigh of relief for the residents, not only at Kaswa and its enclave, but other parts of the Central Region, because they feel that these people are the places that they breed criminals, and so they export them to other areas to, to have criminal activities in the region and even beyond the region as well.
I think I can now safely bring in Dr. Opoku-Ware and Adam Bona, and I'll start with you, Doc. This area has been a concern for you, particularly because of the influx of different foreign nationals. This plan to demolish the place must come to you as good news. Yes, Doc, unmute for me. Doc, kindly unmute for me.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I think you can hear me now.
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes. Okay, so it's obviously a good news for me I mean, just as I think it should be good news for all the residents in and around the area, especially Kaswa, because based on the studies I did over there, I realized that there is a flip over, or let me say a ripple effect of all the activities that's happening within Bujumbura, reflecting in Kaswa, especially in terms of the criminal activities. Because what is happening is that because of the high residential instability patterns in that area, it has created high activity nodes where you see most of the things that happen there, because people keep moving in and out, people are able to come in and do whatever they want without any proper profiling of those people. So for me, it is very good news, and I think that it's long overdue. This is something that some of us have communicated to the security people over the years, that look, because of what is happening within the camp and the fact that the place has become high criminal attractive place or criminal attractor, it is very important that we get rid of that place and do something better with it. So I'm very happy that this thing is finally going to happen.
Mr. Bona, just recently you made reference to how Kaswa has deteriorated, I mean, in terms of criminal activities. Is this the panacea to curbing the increasing crime rate, especially in that area? Kindly unmute for me, Mr. Bona.
Yes, Aisha. Good afternoon.
Great.
Yes, I am happy to note or to know that at least our leaders are waking up to the fact that Kaswa for the last 10 years has been a supplier of criminals all over the country. If you check the police's own database, they will tell you that most heinous crimes that have been committed in this country found its roots to Kaswa and the Bujumbram camp area. And some of us have said it repeatedly that if the place is no longer a refugee camp, why do you still have people there who are not supposed to be there? And so as far as I'm concerned, and I think I've reiterated this severally, that Kaswa or that area suffers what I call identity crisis. So for a very long time, I started, referring to the place as a banana community, so that it became a community where when criminals or gangs committed criminal activities and the police chased them and they ran into the place, it became overly difficult for the police or the security officers to find them, because you have makeshift structures. Where are these people? And once they go in there, they vanish into thin air, and the place is so vast. And so as far as I'm concerned, I want to believe that Kaswa becoming the 18th police region of the Ghana Police Service would have to be given its proper recognition by demolishing the place. And I think nothing should stop the security the security officers or the police and the military and those in charge from demolishing it. And I think that the leadership of this country have some of us our 100% support. That place should go so that, once it's become a supplier of criminals in this country, once you cut the roots, you destroy the roots of where most of these crimes are started from, hoping that when we are discussing crime, we will know how to discuss it. But at the moment, it is become, can you imagine there was a highway robbery just very close to, I think, the Winneba area. You are talking about, and when the officers did investigated, that was instigated from that area. And so as far as I'm concerned, Aisha, I think it has, just like the DC or MCU said, it has outlived its usefulness. It should have gone probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. But as to why we left it up to today, I don't know. So better late than never. It should go as soon as possible.
Dr. Pokuwari, these people, as we've heard them speak in the video, do not intend to leave the area. And of course, it looks like they are not going to leave the area, but rather go to other parts of the country. And so if they're going to spread across other areas, what difference will that make? And some will say, wouldn't they rather spread their criminal activities in other areas?
Yes, there is always that tendency that, you know, as they move to the edges of the communities, for instance, as they move probably deeper into Greater Accra and a central region, and even some part of western regions, you might have those criminal tendencies to also go and perpetrate their act. But you see, once you are able to break the camp, what happens is that that social support system and the network of ties that are so strong within the camp that is used to perpetrate criminal activities are broken. So it will take time for them to be able to go somewhere and begin to now rebuild those ties. And I think that, you know, within Ghanaian communities generally, we have these social support systems at the community level that help us to be able to profile strangers and people who we are not known to be within our community. So though there's that tendency for them to move around, it will take time for them to be able to spread those kind of criminal tendencies. For me, what is making me so happy with this news of this Bujumbram going is the fact that, you see, what has happened over the years is that the place has become what I call a receptive center, okay, for all nationals within the sub-region. For instance, within those from our western border, the eastern border, and even from our northern borders. So you realize that over the years, when people want to come into the country and perpetrate whatever activity they want to do, the place become the first stop for them to be able to now move into the deeper areas of the country. So Aisha, look, if you observe crime patterns, especially if you look at what we call land guards within the country, especially within the Greater Accra and Central region, you find that those that happen within the Kaswa enclave are very brutal. You know why they are very brutal? They are very brutal because most people who go to hide those people, the people they go to hide are normally not Ghanaians. They have no familiar and relationship ties with anybody within the system. So what happens is that when you encroach into the area that they are supposed to protect and they even murder you there, all that they do is just to pack their bags and cross either into the eastern, western, or even the northern borders and go and chill and cool down until all the noise is over and now come back. When they come back, because of the kind of network systems and social support systems those foreigners have built within the Bujumbram camp, the people, they use that support system to protect the criminals. That is why, as my friend Adam Bona was saying, you see that when crime is occasioned, the people have to run to the camp. And now when they go there, the individuals and their families and those people, they use their network system to protect them so that they are not caught. So for me, it is very, very good that, look, we are breaking this camp. It is a very good way for us to break that network of ties and system so that whatever they are using to be able to build that infrastructure of criminal, activities is destroyed permanently.
Mr. Bana, once this is done, what should happen?
Well, what should happen, I'm not sure what government is going to use the land for. I'm told the chiefs and people want the land back, but I would have wished that government would have used it as somewhat training facility for the Ghana Police, Immigration, or, a training facility for one of the security services. Because at the moment, as my colleague on the other side, they mentioned, Kaswa has become something that all of us have been trying over the years to let the authorities know, destroy this camp, break it down, because it is difficult to, handle these guys within the area. And so, yes, if you realize, when it became a police region, police activities or security activities have increased. So you notice there's been a lot of killings of criminals by police officers. Because the moment you leave that area and you go into a new area and an area that you are not familiar with, chances are that the community would identify you to be a stranger. The community will be able to give information about you to the security agencies, like my colleague on the other side said. And so now breaking it up, it is either they are going to stop their nefarious activities, or if they continue, chances are that they will be arrested or they will be gunned down by the police. And so we are hoping that the curve is going to go up in terms of criminal activities all over the country, but it will begin to descend again, especially, with the new police administration. So Aisha, I am, I'm believing, just like my colleague, that this camp should have gone, many years ago, but better late than never. If they are demolishing it, they should demolish it. We can hear the threats from those people. They said they will have nowhere to go. If at Babloshi, market, what's the name? The young market was pulled down, and other locations were pulled down. I don't see anything these people can do. At the end of the day, we operate in a democracy. If they think they have a reason to stay there, they can go to court. But at the moment, the people of Ghana wants that land back. It's no longer a refugee camp. So they should, bulldoze it down and let's have our peace in Ghana, Aisha.
Dr. Pokowari, I'm asking about what should happen next because of security apparatus, security strategies. I mean, should we just demolish this area and fold our arms and the case of criminality is over?
Not necessarily. We must begin to profile them. For me, if I was in charge, I'll basically profile the people even before they leave. We must try as much as possible to ensure that communities that are closer to this camp, and especially closer to Kaswa, begin to watch movement of people up and down and begin to now question and profile people they suspect. As I've already said, there's a tendency for these guys to begin moving closer to, communities that lie on the edges of Kaswa. So for me, the communities must now begin to be careful. They must be awake. They must now ask questions of people that they are not known within their communities. And as a country, I think that, we must now also begin to regulate, the way we allow people to cross into our country. For me, it is something that is very serious, especially when we don't profile people who come in and out. We must begin to do that. So let's be on the lookout. Let everybody be vigilant, especially communities that are closer to Kaswa. Let's be vigilant. Let's begin to use the localized network of ties. Let's begin to be each brother's keeper and begin asking questions of people that shows certain strange characters from what we already know within our communities.
Kojo Nyarko, you've been gauging the mood around the area. How are the people within this vicinity taking this whole demolition exercise?
Well, so there are concerns already, not from the people that are in Kaswa currently, but from other parts of the central region. They want the Ghana Police Service to tighten security, to deploy more security personnel around the central region because they feel that the spillover effect will be huge. And so there should be some kind of a protective shield around the people of the central region because once they demolish the structures there, they would want to find ways, other places to also form the cliques and then they will continue with their activities. And so that is the call they are making to the Ghana Police Service to, as a matter of necessity and urgency, they should deploy more police personnel to protect the people of the central region because they feel the effect of the activity that will go on there as far as the demolition is concerned.
Mr. Bona, Dr. Pokowari hit it right there that, from now up to the time that the demolition is over, we must be each other's keeper and people around must be vigilant. In terms of policing, in terms of community watchdog, what are your expectations?
Well, my expectations, I will put them in two broad contexts. The people here, when I say the people, all of us, we need to our state of alertness, not just within the immediate environment, but the whole country. We have to be on high alert because we are going to have the spillover. We could go as far as Bujumbram and not everywhere. So let's be on a high alert because there are some criminals the police have been chasing for years. And I know some of them are hiding in the Kaswa, the Bujumbram camp area. So chances are that the police have been waiting for some of these people around the peripherals. So as the place is going to begin to go down, chances are that, I have been informed, really informed by the police that they are going to send some of their best teams there. They're already there. They'll increase the number as the day, goes by in terms of the demolition. But with us, the people, we need to, know who is moving into our community and begin to share information about them to the security agencies. If we feel there's something wrong about this person, who this person is, probably we are not too clear about, we should speak up. Because if we keep quiet, chances are that we are going to have the manifestation, the spillover effect of Kaswa probably doing a lot of harm to us. And let me put it on here that I've conducted, recently just finished a survey for academic purposes and, the impact of migration on, business performance. And Kaswa was one of the communities I sampled, Kaswa, Medina, and Ashaman. And the response I got from small businesses in the Kaswa and Bujumbram enclave was telling. They said because of that, they don't seem to attract the quality of their customers is so low. Real estate developers complain that they are not getting people to buy their homes. We got people who are built, people I sample in the survey who said that they have homes, they have developed, and the rent is so low. But the truth is that you will not get the quality of tenants to come and rent. And so this has the dynamics. Let's look at it and say this can going down. Chances are that the way of life within that area is very paramount. I fear sometimes even crossing to Cape Coast. If I have to do, you get there very early, or else you don't know what will be awaiting you in that area. Aisha.
Dr. Opokuwari, you talked about profiling these people before allowing them to go. I mean, by profiling, what exactly are you looking at?
Yes, because some of them, even based on the interviews that Akable did, said that they have evidence that they belong to the refugee board or refugee something. Okay, so genuinely, if you are part of those that have been, captured within the database for the UNHCR, you should have those documents to prove. And then we can probably track you. The UNHCR should be able to also properly track you, even from here to wherever you are going. And then all those that are not, they don't have any documents to prove, their stay here within the camp, then we should know that these are people who have infiltrated within the community. And these are people that quickly we must take their information. If you have to even fingerprint them, do all those things and get their information. You see, we must begin to, be more serious with who comes into our territory and who goes out. Because if you look at the crime literature, there's always a link between migration and crime patterns in community. That's why when you travel outside to America or even to Europe, they are very strict on migration, because you see, as people keep moving in and out within a locality, people from different parts, what happens is that they corrupt the network of ties and the bonds and the social systems there. And they can infiltrate, and also, influence the localized people or people who are indigenous within the community in terms of the kind of behaviors. So this is something that I think that we must begin to do. It is very important that just as we do at the airport, also within our land borders and other places, we must begin now taking certain, vital information of people in terms of those who go in and who go out. As I know, sometimes even when you are even traveling outside this country and you come back, your data is taken at the airport, though you are a Ghanaian. So these things we must begin to do them. We shouldn't just allow them to go. We must have those kind of information so that immediately they cross back into this country, at least we can begin to track them and know that, look, these guys are up to mischief, and then we have to find a way to deal with them.
Ms. Abana, before I let you go, how much information do we need to get on these people before we allow them to go? Now that we know it's very important.
We must get every bit of information. Many of them have no business staying in this country per their own account.
Ms. Abana, kindly unmute for me. I don't know if your hand touched something. Ms. Abana, kindly unmute for me. We lost you briefly. Hello, Ms. Abana. All right, so Ms. Abana is making the point about information we need to acquire from all these people that we want to let off the hook to leave our country or wherever they find themselves because of the demolition that will happen at Bujumbram. Ms. Abana, if you can hear me, we lost you briefly on that one. Okay, so whilst we get Ms. Abana to talk about that, I think I can give Dr. Opokuwari that opportunity. I mean, you spoke about the issue of profiling, which you say is very critical at this point if we would have to let them go. But how much information do we have to take from these people so we can monitor and track their activities even as we let them go? All right, so Ms. Abana, if you are back, wrap it up for me. All right, so I think we're having a bit of a challenge of internet from my resource persons, but they've been making very critical points on the reason why we need this demolition exercise. And they talk about how this will help a great deal to sanitize the Kaswa area, especially the Bujumbram area, which has now become a safe haven for criminal activities. Mr. Bona, are you back? Yes, Mr. Bona. So wrap it up for me on the information bit.
Now, what I'm saying is that most of these people have no right staying in this country. And we are not a banana republic. They should collect their ages, what they've been doing here, how long they've been staying here, where they are coming from. We need to know what business they do here, education. We must have every information about them. And let's extend it to even find out whether these people might have committed any crime either in this country or outside, wherever they are coming from. Then, if we have to send them away, we send them away. But let's not just demolish and allow those who have no business to stay in this country to go into other areas and settle, because you and I know that even if you're a West African national, you could stay here for 90 days. Afterwards, you are supposed to leave and come back again, or else you should change your status. So mine is that these people who have no right to stay here, let's collect information about them before the demolition. If they haven't done that, once they do that, they should do it. But the truth is that whatever the case is, some of us want to see the demolition of the place start earnestly, and whatever information they collect, it should be used in sending those who have to be sent away. And those who have to be kept here, we know who they are, because 30 years ago, if a woman got pregnant here 30 years ago as a refugee, that child would have been 30 years today. And if that child has no status, mine is that, what do we do? So we need to find a way to ensure that those who don't have to stay here, they are sent away. Those who have to stay, they stay. But then we find a way to ensure that the criminal activities these people are brought onto us stops.
Kojo, from now till the time that demolition is over, I guess you know there's a lot of work for you. Are you ready?
Yes, very ready. Some tedious work to be done, because it is not going to be easy. Not just they said that they are going to demolish the place, the people will just give way for them. We realize what happened there and the kind of things they were saying. And so it's not going to be easy. And so a lot more work is expected to be done.
I'm grateful, gentlemen, for your time. Adam Bona is security analyst and CEO of Security Warehouse. Dr. Opokuwari is a criminologist and criminal researcher with the KNUST. And Kojo Nyako is our correspondent in the Central Region. We'll take a break, and still to come on the polls, we'll take a look at the MMDC confirmations. And our focus is in the Ashanti region, where 3 of the president's nominees have already been rejected.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners. Joy 99.7.
Welcome back to The Pulse, and you can tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is @Denana Aisha. You can also join the conversation via all our social media handles. Now, 3 nominees for various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies have been rejected by assembly members as of Tuesday. Shockingly, Kwabre East District, host of the constituency with the highest votes for the ruling party, is one of the affected areas. Etrimangwa Bieja and Joabing are district assemblies where members are not convinced about the nominees. Nanaya Ojima has been speaking to Love News researcher Eugene Osei-Tutu on the developments so far.
Since Monday, approval for some of the nominees for the MMDC positions in the Ashanti region have been ongoing, and we've had some rejections in the Ashanti region, and also some of the president's nominees going through. With me is Eugene Osei-Tutu of our research desk of Love FM to tell us what his findings have been so far. So Eugene, so far, what have you realized from the elections?
In the Ashanti region thus far, we are having 16 of these elections being conducted. That represents 37% of the total election expected thus far. We've also had 13 of them being approved, some getting 100%. For example, when you go to the Asokwa constituency,
we have the MDC there, Akwenya Sejima getting 100%. When you go to Obuasi Municipal, we have Elijah Adansibona getting 100%. When you go to Obuasi East, Faustina Emis also having 100%. When you go to Setre area, yesterday there was Setre East district, Benjamin Kingsley had 71%. So there are varied percentages coming.
Some of the president's nominees have been rejected. What is that telling us about the kind of people who were nominated for the positions?
So it tells us that normally the assembly members are looking beyond the political affiliation or the party line. They are looking at people who are competent, people who can deliver results, because these are the people they've been working with in the last 5 years. So for me, it goes to prove that the assembly members are not just looking at maybe what they will get or the financial dividend, but they are looking at competency. When you take the Kwabri East area, when you take the Kenyanse and Twa roads, one of the main concerns of the people of Kwabri is their roads. Sakawo, Noma, Pontin, all these areas. So they are complaining bitterly about the poor nature of roads in their municipality. I think that played a key role in the rejection of the MMDC in that area.
Now, the one who was rejected is a new entrant.
Yes.
So you expect that if the people are expecting these roads to be fixed, they should approve him, or if they should have some level of confidence in him, he should be approved.
I think that they are just making a statement to the appointing authority that you cannot take us for granted. For example, when it comes to the Ashanti region, the constituency that gives the MPP the biggest voting margin is the Kwabri East region. When you take the 2016 election results, they gave close to 81,000 votes. In the 2020 results, though they had an independent candidate from the stock of the MPP, they still put 71,000 votes for the MPP. So they are making a statement to the president. You cannot just change the candidate and expect us to confirm the candidate.
For the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly and also the Asukariman municipality, there have been a lot of issues. These are areas that a number of people in the Ashanti region believe will be the toughest of the number that we've seen so far. Through your investigation and also the work you've been doing in these areas, what are the dynamics?
The issue with the KMA has to do with the assembly members saying that there are some outstanding debt that the government owes them, some 50 million cedis or so. I believe that...
Owes the assembly members or KMA?
Or KMA, because they are part of the assembly members, and I think that they will have some financial dividend from that money. I think that the government must pay some of these monies for the local government machinery to run smoothly. Sampai has a certain semblance of war chest when it comes to the politics of the region. He's been the regional secretary of the MPP. He also has been an assembly member himself twice. He's been part of the local assembly structure of the region. So I think that he has some competence under his belt. The Asukariman is normally dominated by 65 to 70% of Muslims or people of northern extraction. Their contentment or their issue with the government is that you are bringing somebody from Inshiayeso who's not just any person, the person who's been an MP for the area for one term, to become the municipal chief executive for Asukariman. Also, this person didn't apply to Asukariman. The person we know for record and for fact applied to the KMA. So it's as if you are giving us a reject of KMA. So the demographics are many. So sometimes the outliers are able to see more of the issues that bedevil the people. Maybe Kennedy can come, maybe that. But for me, I think that when Ali Dusedu, Manaf, and the various camps are spoken to, the assembly members are spoken to, and the reasons for the appointment of Kennedy can come and explain to them, I think that they may be able to accept him. And who knows, maybe he may put Asukariman on the map.
Nanaya Ojima joins us via Zoom for more. Nanaya Ojima, tell me, what are the reasons for the rejections? Do you know?
As explained earlier in the report that I filed, you find out that there are some areas that they believe that development is not being brought to them as expected. So they have people they believe will be able to help bring development to these areas, and these are some of the people that they expected the government to appoint. That's why some of the assembly members have rejected some nominees in the areas. And mind you, there's one of the municipality districts where the previous assembly member, the previous district chief executive was once again nominated by the government. And ahead of that, the people had indicated that they didn't want this person to be brought back to them, and government, ignored this one, and that was coming from the assembly members and reappointed the people. So some of the assembly members have sworn that they reject these people till the government find some sense in what they are saying and bring them the people they decide. So it's mainly due to the choices of the assembly members and also some people on the ground. But for the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly and also the Askorman municipalities, these are peculiar issues. For instance, at the KMA, according to the assembly members, government have made KMA use some funds that were generated internally for some projects, and government have refused to pay back these money. So the assembly members have sworn to vote against the government nominee. So until government pays this amount that they're expecting government to pay. So this is one of the reasons why the Regional Coordinating Council is yet to set a date for the KMA elections, because they believe that the consultations that will have to be done at the assembly have not yielded any positive results. So until then, places like Askorman and also Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, the elections, the dates for the elections are yet to be communicated to the public.
But how many of them were nominated by the president? How many have been confirmed? How many are yet to be confirmed? And how many of them are likely to be rejected after these three?
So the Ashanti region has 43 districts. And so far, as at this morning, 19 had been done. 3 of the nominees had been rejected. Today, there are some areas where the elections were conducted. For instance, the nominee for Justice Chidumase has been able to poll 80% of the votes. It means he has been successful. And there are other areas in the Ashanti region that today the elections have been held, but the results for these elections they are yet to be communicated to the public, or they are yet to come to our notice. So we'll keep monitoring events. But talking about areas that the people that it's expected that there's a high chances that the nominees for these areas might be rejected. The Askorman municipality is one of them, and the KMA, if the ultimatum that the people are given is not honored, there are chances that these areas to the assembly members may reject them. And at Kumau, the previous DCE has also been renominated, and there are issues in the area. So the information that we are getting is that some of the assembly members do not approve of his appointment or renomination, and therefore they may vote against him. So these are areas that the information we are picking from the ground are not too favorable for the government.
Nana Ojima is my colleague in the Ashanti region monitoring the MMDC confirmations. For us, we'll have more for you in our subsequent bulletins. Now, is government broke or priorities are simply misplaced? Questions begging for answers from the ranking member of the Finance Committee of Parliament, Dr. Atofosin, following the lamentations of judges and magistrates about the handling of the allowances and other conditions of service, which they say is appalling. Speaking at the opening of the annual general meeting of the Association of Magistrates and Judges of Ghana, its president, Justice Senyor Jamefe, said it has now become an annual battle to get the allowances paid, while raising concerns about their security and safety of their new residential facilities after they were relocated to pave way for the construction of the National Cathedral.
Much as management has done its best in the years under review, we still have a lot of problems as judges. 1, it's always the first every year, payment of allowances. Year in, year out, we have complained about this issue of non-payment of allowances or delays in doing so. Like we said in 2019, payment of allowances has become one of the biggest issues for the association. It is sad that judges in Ghana will have to fight every year for their legitimate allowances to be paid. It is sad, to say the least, that the leadership of the association has to personally trek to the Ministry of Finance, Controller and Accountant General Department, Auditor General Department to fight before allowances are paid, and it's true. We have to fall on friends at the seat of government to push for such allowances to be paid. As of September 2021, that is this month, we still have not received any fuel allowance for the year. Mr. Chairman, it is so frustrating to say the least. Mr. Chairman, without mincing words, we are so frustrated. We feel disrespected about the way our allowances are paid, as if it's a favor being done us. For so many years now, we have never been paid, in quotes, any fuel allowance. It has always been a refund. As usual, we use our own money from our taxed salaries to purchase fuel. This is later refunded after so many months and then taxed as if it was paid upfront. In effect, we pay double taxes for fuel, taxed salaries and ex-pump taxes. The courts insist very much on timelines in litigation since they are creatures of statute. Yet, same is overlooked when it comes to payment of allowances to us. Book and roving allowances. I said in 2019 that the service to government has long forgotten about these allowances. The last book allowance was paid in 2019. Roving allowance for this year is still not paid. Roving is 5 years, so people qualify every year, but this year it's not paid.
The Finance Ministry is not readily available to provide answers on the delays, but ranking member of the Finance Committee of Parliament and former Deputy Finance Minister Dr. Ato Forson expressed surprise about the development and cautioned government about the larger impact on the justice delivery system in the country. He spoke on JoyNews desk.
Honestly, it is not before the committee officially, but I've read about it, and let me say that I'm disturbed. I'm disturbed for a simple reason that we all know the important role the judiciary in particular plays in every organization. If we talk about compensation of employees, it's made up of salaries and allowances. So if government of the day decide to pay one leg of somebody's entitlement and fails to pay the other, it doesn't really sound good. But you see, the difficulty that we have here is that because the judiciary oftentimes find it difficult to speak for themselves, and oftentimes it's Parliament that speaks for them, they find it difficult to espouse this. My problem is that we are where we are because of poor prioritization of government. In fact, I am tempted to conclude that Ghana is broke.
Now, Chairman of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, Kwame Anyimedu-Entry, assured the judiciary the legislative arm of government will deal decisively with their concerns.
And I think I will work with my colleagues when we resume. Even we'll start working towards it and finding out where something has gone wrong. Then we all put our minds together and efforts together to make sure that this situation is rectified and rectified for good. Not only the judges and magistrates, but all other institutions that will be receiving allowances from government. Maybe we would have to actually look at it, if it is possible, to actually consolidate those allowances as part of their salary. Then we would not, these problems would not reoccur.
Chief Justice Kwesi Yeboah acknowledged the constraints faced by judges, but asked them to do their best to win the trust of the public.
Serious constraints as an institution. In a population of over 30 million, we have less than 404 judges and magistrates administering justice in a litigious society like Ghana. The cause of justice may not easily be accessible to the poor or the legally aided litigant, who may equally not qualify for legal aid. However, we have to do our best within the limited logistic constraints to serve the justice needs of our compatriots. For example, from Central Accra, that is Ejabin, to Nsawam, there is not a single court on that stretch until Amasamai. And this should not happen in any civilized country. The same situation is true for Kumasi. From Kumasi Central to Obuasi, there is no court on the way, and that is the distance of about 36 miles. Nevertheless, we still have to adjust to these constraints and hope that the state will apply a bit more resources to provide court infrastructure to support justice delivery in Ghana. Permit me to applaud government and members of parliament at this juncture for the construction of some new courts under the Disassembly Common Fund project. The judiciary is now to receive over 100 courts throughout the country within the next year. The judiciary is also grateful to the administrator of the Disassembly Common Fund in this regard. I wish to urge you, as part of measures to improve upon our justice delivery, to advise litigants in appropriate cases to resort to ADR in cases which ADR is appropriate, to lessen the burden which is imposed on us. We have to also avoid unnecessary adjournments that are not sought on legitimate grounds. You should avoid adjourning rulings and judgments, as these cause delays in bringing finality to cases when very short adjournments could dispose of the matter. Accumulating of several party cases should also be avoided. I felt ashamed as Chief Justice when a judge who has been promoted from the magistrate court to the circuit court had accumulated 120 part-head cases. We have wide discretionary powers vested in us as judges, but these should not be abused, as it will lead to injustice. We must therefore be guided by our judicial oath, which reads in part, truly and faithfully perform the functions of my office without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that I will at all times uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Ghana, so help me God. Be reminded that the office of a judge or magistrate is not a public one, which opens one's conduct to the public interest and scrutiny. To occupy the office of a judge or magistrate makes you fortunate, and you are obliged to leave it unblemished when the time comes to lay it down. Furthermore, the Code of Conduct for Judges and Magistrates, which has recently revised, has assembled time-tested principles for ensuring appropriate social behavior for effectively discharging the sacred responsibilities of judgeship in contemporary Ghanaian society. Maintaining the prestige of judicial office is essential to a system of government in which the judiciary functions independently of the executive and legislative branches. I would therefore urge us, judges and magistrates, as provided in the Code of Conduct, to distinguish between proper and improper use of prestige of office in all our activities and avoid all improprieties and the appearance of it in both professional and personal conduct. I wish to state that the Office of the Chief Justice and the Judicial Council will always be with the judges, but nevertheless apply the appropriate sanctions in disciplinary matters.
It is illegal for commercial drivers to pick up passengers along the motorway, but that has not stopped trotro drivers from turning the Manet Junction stretch of the motorway into an illegal station. Kwajo is one of these such drivers. He knows he's breaking the law, but as he explains to Joy SMS host Kojo Yankson, he takes the risk just to make a living.
The motorway is a very fast route. Many of the passengers now move from Springtest, Triblau and Madina to this point because they know we are all here. And now there are many homes along this stretch, so definitely you'd have someone stop by. The police do arrest us. Some will also take something and let us go.
And with vehicles rocketing to and from Tema at about 100 kilometers per hour, the motorway is an extremely dangerous road to cross. But the new settlements springing up on either side of the concrete highway mean there's no shortage of pedestrians attempting to zigzag their way through speeding traffic to board the illegally parked trotros operated by Kwejo and his colleagues. He admits a number of these pedestrians have been knocked over right before his very eyes. How do he and his colleague trotro drivers react whenever this happens? They abandon the victims and drive off.
Many pedestrians are knocked down. That is true. And once there's an accident, we flee. Otherwise, you'd be in trouble when the police arrives.
Now, if you live in Accra, this is for you. Whenever you want to rent or build, a simple mobile app can tell you the risk of flooding in the area. It's an app built by the Ghana Meteorological Agency to help people in the capital to stay safe whenever it rains.
This app is basically to help us know, prepare ourselves in terms of any flood event within our community. And it also gives you weather forecast on estimated rainfall that has the potential of causing this flood or hazard within your community. And the name of the app is My Flood Risk Accra app. And this can easily be downloaded for Android or on an Apple phone. You can easily do that from a Play Store. So in this app, we have two sessions basically, which tells you about water level within your community, whether you are at a high risk, low risk, or moderate risk, depending on the impact, and then your community, the community especially, whether you are a flood-prone zone, you can be able to determine this water level there. And this water level is informed by the weather forecast that is issued, based on the estimated amount of rainfall expected over your community. So this forecast is issued 3 times daily from 6 a.m. in the morning, then we update in the afternoon, and also for the evening. If we expect any higher rainfall that will cause flood more than expected, we could also update that at any time that the weather is expected to cause that event. For the start, it just covers 3 parts within the Greater Accra area, which is Gan East, Gan West, and AMA. So these are the areas that this app covers for now. So anybody traveling to the city, especially to these communities, can access this information. Aside getting the water level information for potential flood, as well as the estimated weather forecast, it can also help you to have preventive measures or tips on flood in general. So you cannot only just use it for that, just assessing water level and flood or rainfall forecast, but you can also use it to learn more about flood information in general. So teachers can also use this app to teach their students. There are graphic information, infographic information in there that makes learning easier. Also for emergency contact in the case of flood activities, where to contact, especially like NADMO, fire service, police service, the ambulance. They also have their contacts in there, so people can also fall on there to call on them or reach them. Yeah. For now, those who use YAM or feature phones are not directly covered, but we've not forgotten them. There's another system that we are also working on, that is the weather information dissemination system, which has the audio aspect, so they could listen to the forecast in local languages. It's still being worked on, and if it's completed, we will surely alert the public on that. I would just encourage the public to use this app. It's very efficient. As I mentioned earlier on, it gives you a lot of information. You can also use it to teach people. So I'll entreat everybody to get this. And as we are experiencing a lot of high impact weather during the rainy season, please use this app to know when it will rain for good information as well as planning as well.
We'll take a break on The Pulse. When we return, we'll be talking about the 3rd mini clinic of the EcoBag JoyNews Habitat Fair, which comes off this weekend. Do stay tuned in.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to my Joy Online/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Welcome back to The Pulse, live from our studios in Kokomlemle. You can also join via all our social media handles. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle, Adhanana Aisha. Now, the third mini clinic of the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair comes off this weekend at the Junction Mall. Organizers are promising something bigger and better. In case you're still wondering on what to expect, here is an excerpt from the last mini clinic held at the West Hills Mall.
The two-day mini-clinic, which is the second in a series of 3 ahead of the main JoyNews EcoBank Habitat Fair in October, attracted scores of patrons who were in search of answers to the question of whether to buy or to build that dream home. Various exhibitors pitched camp at the West Hills Mall with varied options on display.
Aside that, we have 3- and 4-bedroom houses that we are selling within our gated estate located at Katamanso off the Adenta Dodowa Road. We also have UPVC windows, doors and accessories here.
Fairnat has been in existence since 1974, which is about 47 years old, and the only wood manufacturing company in Ghana as of now. We can boast of quality doors, woods that are properly dried to the lowest moisture content.
Our doors are made of galvanized steel, solid galvanized steel doors, yeah. What we call glazing. We have balustrades, we've introduced gates as part of our lines, and most recently, our pergola and then very wonderful kitchens.
It comprises of 4 components. You have the aluminium, the zinc, the magnesium, and the silicon. All these components come together to aid the product to perform better.
For private individuals who wanted their own homes, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I have seen these people, Bambi Smart Home, and their things are quality. I have their lights. When you put it on your phone, you can switch your light on phone and put it off on your phone. And even you can talk, and the light will go off or come on. And you can talk, the blender will start working or go off.
So you are buying?
Yes, I'm buying. I'm about to pay it before you call.
Make the first step. Put the first step and make the first step and do the analysis for themselves and see whether it's good for them to build based on your income, whether it's to build or to buy.
But they were not alone. There were other building consultants and architects who are taking time off their busy schedules to hunt for new housing products and services at the clinic.
I'm an architect. Some of these exposures are very good. You come around and you see difference and the variety of products that we have in stock. And then that better also informs you as to whatever recommendations you can also make to clients when they come to you. Yes.
I'm an engineer myself, so I decided to pass by to see what is being offered, especially in the area of lands and other accessories relating to the industry, the building industry. That's why I'm here, and I've been impressed. But I recommend that if you are planning or if you even intend to do, just pass by. There are offers that might meet your need.
For many of the exhibitors who set up at the clinic, it had been a good time to make great sales.
All of these money.
It's a good opportunity from JoyNews, and I think this opportunity, we are just making good advantage. We are taking good advantage of it, yes. So we are making some sales, yes. Thanks to JoyNews, of course, yes.
You have no reason to miss the Junction Mall mini clinic, the last, which will lead us into the bigger picture in October. So make a date on Saturday. We'll take a break on The Pulse. We'll bring you the very latest from the sports world. Stay tuned in.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Many thanks for staying with us. My name is Hans Mainsando and I bring you sports on The Pulse. Barca, they are set to sack manager Ronald Koeman, and it could even happen before they play their next game. That's according to Spanish football expert Guillem Balaguer. Barca have lost both their UEFA Champions League group games by a scoreline of 3-0, with Wednesday's defeat at Benfica particularly damaging. They are unbeaten in La Liga, but they lie sixth on the table after 3 draws from 6 games. The big question joining me, and I think that the question is, rather straightforward. Is it a question? And the one thing we all agree is that this is a team in transition. I mean, correct. Everybody knows that if you look at the Barca team now, is a team. You don't think that the club should sack Koeman, correct?
If the club sacks Koeman, it won't be out of place.
Okay.
For them to sack Koeman, because as a coach, I mean, irrespective of the materials you are given, whether good or bad, you are still expected to squeeze results out of the players available. But like I said, Barcelona do not have a bad squad. These are very talented players. These are players that should be able to grind results from the games against Granada and other teams that we have dropped valuable points again, because we still have Memphis Depay in the team, we still have Gerard Piqué, we still have Marc-Andre ter Stegen, who is one of the safest pair of hands in world football, not just European football.
Right.
We still have Sergio Busquets, we have Sergio Roberto, and even the talents that have come in. His management of talent, for me, is where the problem is.
Okay.
Now, before he came in, look at a player like Ricky Puig, and we're talking about transition. This is a player that clearly demonstrated that he's got what it takes to bring back that sort of football we missed from.
I didn't think that sacking Koeman is really going to solve the problem, although Barca will be within their right and would have ample justification to sack Ronald Koeman. We'll keep monitoring. The report have it that he's going to be sacked before Barca's next game. We don't like to break bad news, but of course, when it does break, we'll bring it to you here first, and also, of course, at myjoyonline.com/sports. Thank you very much. My name is Hans Mensah, and many thanks for your time.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
And as I wrap up the pulse this afternoon, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. I've indeed enjoyed my almost 2 hours stay with you. Up next is Let's Talk Showbiz. Enjoy the rest of our programs.
All right, well, anyways, it's great to have you here.
You,
Nigeria's bad boy, Ghana's bad boy.
Wow.
It's an image that you've worn over over like 20 years, like forever.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a bad boy?
Well, it depends on what side of the divide you are.
It's really not ambiguous.
Yeah, it's a very ambiguous, and I'll explain it. Apparently, being bad in certain contexts means running afoul of the law, being enemy of the state, enemy public number one, all that kind of stuff. That totally, make you a negative person, someone that has the wrong energy. Being bad on the other side, as I see it within the prism of my context, is being untraditional, unorthodox, approaching things with a certain different way of life, looking at life in a rather lopsided version. And I'm never ever following with the uniformity of life. I think that's what I am.
Shall you speak English, wow? The prism of my context of my... I would need dictionary to the interview.
You asked me a question. Andy, I mean, what do you think? I mean, am I on point?
The uniformity
you're on point. But I'm sure what she meant was that in movies, you always play a bad boy.
Have you ever played a good boy?
Yeah. Of the odd... perhaps
when he was a pastor or something,
65 awards that I've won that sit on my mantle right now.
Wow. Congrats.
I think 50% of them came from roles that are relatively not, has anything to do with me being bad. They were deep-rooted roles of being a father, roles of being the victim, roles of being, the sufferer in the movie, the protagonist. So I think that says so much for the art itself, the art form.
Do you think the press has been
fair? No. No, not in any way.
Really?
No, and I gave them good reasons to be what they are. When we started this thing, there was no pointers, there was no managerial, no direction. Nobody told us anything about fame. We were barely kids. I started doing this when I was barely 21.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 20 actually, 21. I just finished college, just got my first degree. I was off to do my master's when I discovered my life calling, and I said, you know what, let's cool with. Let me see what this has to hold for me. I was excommunicated from my family at that time.
Really?
Yes. My dad told me, listen, continue our path. If you know anything about the Igbo parent, especially the African, continue. They thought I was going to throw my life away, in essence. But I wanted to do this. And at that time, there was nothing. We had a little bit of, all of a sudden, we're millionaires before we're 22, and there was nobody. The arrogance came, the misdemeanor came. There's nobody that could school us about the responsibility that came with this. And then we misbehaved a lot. And we got judged by it a lot.
Yeah.
But a lot of us also grew up. A lot of us came to understand the responsibility that's been entrusted to us. A lot of us carried on to the next realm of life properly. But we already labeled a certain way. And the country I come from, trust me, emotions rise very high once they have an understanding, once they have a concretized opinion of you. And it's hard to. So after a while, I understood it for what it was. Do I go all out to start some sort of damage control, to start punitive measures in any sense? No, it took too much energy. So my focus was my immediate realm, the nuclear family that understood me, that, I would gain a lot by, giving them a wrong impression of me. And I focused very intensively on them. And I think I grew with them. So it really didn't matter what anybody outside that box thought. That frame of reference was solely theirs to deal with.
It means you don't really care what they think.
And how many people's opinion can you change of you? If you don't want people to talk about you, have an opinion about you, stay at home. If you want to change the narrative, be prepared. The truth is that we're all humans. Not my finest hour, I dare say, but emotions run high. Why does it have to be the public figure that is held accountable all the time, that is held at the higher standards of moral ethics all the time? We all get into arguments, don't we? We're all humans. We all go to have a conversation. I didn't wake up in the morning and I walk into this gentleman's studio and decided to have an altercation with him. Don't forget, something provoked that incident already. This is a man that called into question my integrity in the first place. That said I'm a ritualist, that's how I live the life I live, the quality of life I live. I'm a man that, this man said that they should check the means of my wealth. That the quality of life and the things that I own obviously has to have nefarious background, questionable background, that I'm a ritualist. Okay? This is someone that lives in a country where we have the most corrupt leaders of all times. That's in the history of corrupt leaders. Nigerians take the mantle. We decide what corrupt leaders should look like. You understand? Seriously, we're the poster child for corrupt leaders.
Yeah.
And then you pick a man that since his 20s has walked till his early 40s to say you question the quality of life he lives. I went there to have a conversation because I'm a student of history. I'm a humanist. I want to understand the reason behind the reason. Why would you wake up in the morning and the first order of business for you is how to pull another person down? I wasn't the only one that was called into this picture, like they say. He called 3 or 4 other people. So I wanted to also prove a point that you can't stay behind the curtains and do these things and think nobody will find you. My point was to tell him I can find anybody I want anytime.
And you can confront them.
I have will, I have resources.
Did you get the answers that you wanted?
Absolutely. I went in there, we had a conversation. Things, of course, took a turn for the worse. And went south a little bit. That was the picture the press needed to sensationalize it. They didn't catch where we sat down. We had a conversation like men, popped a bottle of wine, drank to our health, and got it over with. The generation I come from, my dear, we don't do the social media exchanges and pull-ups. I don't know how to do it. I'm a man. I don't know about this peace, for lack of a better term. Okay. I walk up to a man if I have a situation with you. We converse about it. We intellectually converse about it. If it degenerates into altercations, we raise our fist. After that, we'll sit down, we'll drink beer, and then we'll do business after.
Okay, talking about business. So in the past few weeks,
and please, forgive me. For clarity,
Yes,
all right?
please.
And if in the morning, even when I posted his artwork, about 90% of the questions were about this altercation.
The altercation, okay.
So with all you're saying, the person made these statements prior to you going there.
Yes, I could have sued this person and taken him for everything he's worth. I had a team of lawyers sitting down and said, let's take him out. But I wanted to have a conversation. Even when I sat down, he told me that he was afraid I was going to sue him. And I had every reason for defamation to clean him out. I just didn't want to take food from the man. So I sat down and I did a recourse and said, let's talk. So they cut that part. It was all filtered, it was all doctored, of course. If they had cut the part where we made up, had a laugh, and had wine after that, that would not serve their purpose. That wouldn't serve their ulterior motives. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, that most times it's doctored. People never get to understand the full stretch, the other side of the coin, how it works out. And then after that, I told him, listen, the people you fight, I'm not the one who's attacking that country. I said, the people you fight are usually people on top of their games. These are people that can open doors for you if you come the right way. You don't have to be public enemy number one. And have you gone to see each of the blogs, every media that took out that story? Not one person blamed me. Because I haven't seen any personality that's as hated as that dude. And I told him, listen, that's not the way to go. While I'm ready to have a conversation, you could be dealing with somebody a lot more dangerous that's not ready to have a conversation, that may just want to do something a lot more ominous than that. So think about that. You're not only doing this at the detriment of the people you attack, you're also doing it at the peril of
nana pay in a bit yaba na yaba bechiche busuanre na first minister nankasa ababete no beti o nankasa nanum efre busuan no ho ni siye ene sa bre e ho hyehye bi e ho a esese ono so oti no dulu kobo yewura president amane ene hyehye bi aka nti nana pay se hu si yaba yaba ya na ye nanso tititia ya sem ne se areho ahye yakoma moma nana pay.
Nana is a role model, not to just myself, but to almost everyone who practices in the arts industry, because we grew up on his music. You saw your mother, your father, seeing him as a great performer, a great writer, a good song or storyteller. And so it was a privilege to meet Nana Ampadu. After so many years admiring him from afar. As an event organizer, I did a lot of events with him, very professional. He would always bring people together when people want to disperse. When there is agitation, he's a unifier. Because of naturally his age and his calmness, he will make sure that we all tone down and find a midpoint so we all move forward. Again, as I campaigned for the ruling party, the New Patriotic Party, NPP, he also had passion for the president, then a candidate. And so we had to converge at a point and then work together to make sure that President Akufo-Addo wins power. And that is why I'm here today. And so Creative Art for Change, which we formed, and Nana Ampadu played a pivotal role as well. Yeah.
All right. What are some of the lessons this generation can learn from Nana Ampadu?
The whole world is watching. Yeah. Every step counts.
Yeah. It's obvious that over the years, over his life on earth, Nana Ampadu was a very great icon, not just to Ghana, but to the rest of the world. His songs touch on every subject that mattered on this in Ghana, and the country has lost an illustrious person. In terms of creative arts, his songs the lyrics had a lot of meaning. It had a lot of profound advice for young people, even for the elderly. So we cannot quantify the loss. Just to say that the industry has lost a great person, and the world is the loser.